We know that Seth Rollins is our current World Heavyweight Champion, but eventually he's going to lose the title. But it's not looking like anytime soon. So who will it be? Who will dethrone Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship in the near future? We could be seeing maybe the Royal Rumble, maybe Elimination Chamber, or most likely WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas next year. So hope you guys enjoy this video. It's going to be nice to record. Always remember, smash the like, subscribe button to the channel. Let's get into this one. I'm so sorry for the picture quality on CM Punk, because Google trying to save photos from him, it don't work. But my first option is probably the most likely. The Cole personality, the best in the world, the voice of the voiceless, the second City Saint, CM Punk. We know that Punk and Rollins are in a big feud right now and have been since Punk returned back at Survivor Series nearly 2 years ago now. We know that Punk won the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, defeating Gunther in a long 30-minute match. But at the end, Rollins came on crutches, threw the crutches down and cashed in on CM Punk to take the title away from him and just be that generational hater that Rollins is. Basically, a scumbag. So CM Punk is on his quest to win the championship. You know that he didn't really properly win. He kind of had that Drew McIntyre moment. But I think he could win it. I think WWE loves CM Punk now, because I think he brings in so many merch sales. The fans love him. You know, they're always chanting CM Punk. They even chant him outside of matches he's not even involved in sometimes. So he's got such a big persona to him, and he's so big in the company right now. He's arguably top 5 in the company right now, with the likes of Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Roman Reigns, etc. So CM Punk's definitely a favourite, you know. He's the face of Raw. He's there every single week, cutting promos. He has a match here and then against the likes of like Sami Zayn, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and against Rollins here and then. So he's always like active, you know. And the World Heavyweight Championship is classed as the workhorse championship, you know, like the workhorse superstar that's going to be there every week, defending most weeks, you know. Be the title that's always there, not the show title, which is the undisputed title for wrestlers that are very big but don't have to be there weekly, you know, because SmackDown has got other titles, but the undisputed championship is so big of a title they don't have to be there every week just because it just resembles their royalty, you know. So it's better that CM Punk does win the World Heavyweight Championship. He's probably not my favourite, which is surprisingly, you know, but I could see him being the favourite for WWE's choice, as again, he is there most weeks compared to other wrestlers, and he would defend a lot for the fans, you know, because he's probably one of the top babyface in the company right now. And him to finally defeat Rollins and end the feud, picking up the win against Rollins and beating him for everything that Rollins has done to him, you know, I think it would mean a great story. Next up for me is the current United States Champion, Sami Zayn. And you're not going to be thinking, Jake, Sami Zayn's on SmackDown. How is he going to win the World Heavyweight Championship? Well, here's my scenario. We get to the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia loves Sami Zayn, we know this. Sami Zayn would have lost the US title by then to maybe Solo Sikoa, to maybe a Carmelo Hayes, Montez Ford, whatever. So Sami's just lost the US title, yeah, after a short reign as champion. And this is where he finally knows he has to go for the World Championship now. So Sami wins the Royal Rumble from the back of the fans, you know, getting to big eliminations over the likes of maybe Punk, Reigns, and etc. But Sami Zayn doesn't want to choose Cody Rhodes for WrestleMania, you know, as Cody Rhodes is his friend, and that's not the title he wants to win. And Rollins was abusive to him and basically moved him to SmackDown, you know. So Sami Zayn wants his revenge. So it sets up Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 42. And obviously, Sami Zayn wins. And I think it'd be a good story, you know, for Sami to finally win that world title. He doesn't have to hold it for so long. He just needs that reign, you know, to finally complete this boring underdog storyline. Because all Sami Zayn says now that I need to be a world champion because I'm the underdog. You're not an underdog, bro. You're a 3-time IC champion, a United States champion, a 2-time tag team champion, and a WrestleMania main eventer. Like, bro, you are still a very, very big name in the WWE. Like, you ain't got to moan as much. But I think him just being a world champion even once would mean his character elevates 10 times, you know. So, Sami Zayn could be up there for me. I'd probably say he's my least favourite out of the 4 I've chosen. But I'd say he's definitely in that bracket, you know, who could possibly win. Because I think he's definitely in my top 3 favourites to win the Royal Rumble next year in Saudi Arabia due to the backing of the fans. So I think Sami Zayn is definitely a choice to maybe, possibly, beat Rollins in the future. And next up is a choice that people will think, what do you mean by this, Jake? For me, Bron Breakker is a choice. We know that Bron Breakker is involved in the Vision with Seth Rollins right now. Being Seth Rollins' right-hand man, you know, he's like the Jey Uso to Roman Reigns. But we all saw how that played out, you know. Jey Uso was underestimated. He was controlled by Roman Reigns. And right now, Seth Rollins is controlling Bron Breakker. He's abusing his power, just for him to protect himself and get him, get all the competitors away from the World Heavyweight Championship in Rollins' name. So for a while, Bron Breakker's going to get fed up. I'm a bigger talent than what you think, You're underestimating me. You're using me as your protector just to get people away, as a lackey. I want my opportunity now. I've proved that I can do this. I've won multiple IC titles. I've been in Royal Rumble matches. I've been on the main card for a long time. I think it's time that I get to compete for a world title because my character's been elevated. Possibly seeing a Bron Breakker face turn for the first time in 3 years, which would be a very interesting story, So Bron Breakker turns face, we think, this year. Just after the Royal Rumble or something, because of maybe Seth, doing something for him, or maybe telling him not to help or something. We don't know, but something could happen down the line. Bron Breakker eventually turns on Seth, like I said, and then Bron Breakker goes single and faces Rollins at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship, because the Royal Rumble winner would have faced Cody Rhodes for his championship. But Bronson Reed will be involved in this, attacking Bron Breakker, to still help Seth Rollins, which was like Solo Sikoa in the bloodline, him still sided with Seth Rollins, because there'll be a choice. Bronson Reed either goes with Bron Breakker or stays with Seth Rollins, and he eventually chooses to stay with Seth Rollins and the Paul Heyman still being the vision. But eventually, Bron Breakker, being the face, gets the big win over Rollins and finally gets that big push, being the World Heavyweight Champion and being the face of Monday Night Raw. Because the face Bron Breakker as World Champion could be some potential, with these dirty spears and everything. Could see him being a long-reigning champion, maybe a year and a half, And I wouldn't mind it. I think Bron Breakker is the future of WWE. And if he got a World Championship or a World Title reign under his name at 20 or 29 years old, that is incredible. Because Bron Breakker's still got another 15 years of his career. And how many world titles he'll win if he wins his first one at 28 or it might even be 27. That would be incredible. One of the youngest world champions ever. And I would not be against the idea. Again, I love Bron Breakker. I love his character. I love his whole thing. I think when he eventually gets that division, though, I think that's when we see the real Bron Breakker. We saw him stuck in the IC title division, being a 2-time IC champion. First time, obviously, defeating Sami Zayn, and then second time defeating main event Jey Uso. And he's defeated the likes of main event Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Penta, loads of superstars out on his level, He's even really tested Roman Reigns, which he'd eventually face most likely. So I would like to see Bron Breakker being involved. I think it's unlikely. But I could see Bron Breakker turn on Vision to maybe try and win gold. And my main choice to defeat Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, a lot of people disagree with me on this, is the OTC1, Roman Reigns. We know that Reigns is going to be away for most of September, maybe decline the storyline with Rollins once again. But when he returns in October, again, I think he faces Bron Breakker. Then they go on to have a War Games match. And you've seen my video. Go and see my channel now to go and watch the video how I think Roman Reigns will lead up to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 42 for Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship, and how Reigns will eventually defeat Rollins by the help of the OG Bloodline. I just think that the OG Bloodline will help Reigns. Again, not Seth Rollins. WWE can't escape from the Bloodline story. Again, the Vision is just the rip-off Bloodline, rip-off Evolution. It's just another group that they're trying to copy, because WWE always need the outstanding group. We had the Judgment Day for a bit, but the Judgment Day have fallen off, if we're being all honest. So they needed something to really get that storyline going again, of a big group fighting a couple of superstars to try and gain dominance. And it's what we've seen with the Vision, We saw it with Judgment Day. Before that was the Bloodline. We've seen it obviously before the Shield as well, which Reigns and Rollins were both involved in. That's where the story also comes from. And I think the Reigns and Rollins story is not finished yet. And we've been going on for over 11 and a half years now. We need to call it a day soon enough, lads. I mean, these two need to just get away from each other, because they've always had this feud. Even when they're on different brands, they've always spoke about each other. They've always had a problem with each other. Ever since the Shield broke up back in 2014. And we need to get this done. We need that finale match to finally end the beef, between these two. Maybe it's not for the title. Maybe, like I said, maybe one of the other three men win the title of Rollins, and we get Reigns Rollins at WrestleMania. No title, just pure blood dominance. And whoever just wins, gets that feel and finally gets that win after all the Shield beef, which would be very interesting. But I'd like to see it for a title. These two men have so much caliber, in their locker. Roman Reigns, for me, is still the biggest WWE superstar right now on the roster, and is top 10 of all time, holding, obviously, the Undisputed Championship for 1,316 days. Seth Rollins, one of the greatest in-ring performers for the WWE, and having won multiple world titles, been in a couple of factions, He's done it all. 2-time Grand Slam champion. Reigns been a Grand Slam champion as well. it would be so good to end it off with the World Heavyweight Championship. And it would elevate the World Heavyweight Championship so much, making it that big title, you know. And this could be Reigns' final world title in his career because his schedule is dying down. And I don't think Reigns would hold it for like another 1,000 days. I could see him holding it for a year at best. I could see him dropping it at SummerSlam, you know. But they might want to give Reigns one more title. Maybe get him to like 8 world titles, you know, to really solidify that he's held the world title a couple of times. But what do you lot think? Thank you for watching this video. It has been nice to record. Always remember, smash like and subscribe on to the Flippy channel. And I'll see you little day faces soon. Goodbye, guys.